Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at Shaun of the Dead, a British zombie comedy released in 2004. I figured since I just schooled y'all on the origins of the modern zombie by covering Night of the Living Dead, we could take a look at one of the funniest takes on the subgenre. A story about two man-children so driftless in life, they don't even notice when the zombie apocalypse begins. Starring Simon Pegg as the titular Shaun, and Nick Frost as his layabout stoner best friend, Shaun of the Dead was co-written by Pegg and director Edgar Wright. This was Wright's first movie outside of a low-budget 90s Western parody, and it showcases the style he'd become known for in his subsequent work. Most notably, fast-paced camera work and kinetic editing, both of which primarily serve as a vehicle for comedy. Shaun of the Dead is sometimes called a horror movie parody, but I don't think that's accurate, nor what the filmmakers intended.
Well, we never wanted to make the film into a spoof. We didn't want it to be a Mickey take or in any way irreverent.
I would simply classify it as a zombie comedy. It's not doing any satire that wasn't already in Dawn or Day of the Dead, and although it's hilarious, it's also got dramatic moments and sentimental character beats. It all adds up to make Shaun of the Dead a classic, a funny, heartfelt tribute to George Romero that can be enjoyed by horror fans and genre newbies alike. Usual kill count caveat when it comes to horror comedies. This movie's very funny, with a lot of running and recurring jokes. I can't include them all on the kill count. Go watch the movie. I promise you'll be chuffed to bits. One last thing before we get started. This movie is considered the first of the so-called Three Flavors Cornetto trilogy, named after the ice cream referenced in each film.
Do you want anything from the shop? Cornetto.
The quote-unquote sequels are two stylistically similar films, Hot Fuzz and The World's End, both made by the same filmmakers, Wright, Pegg, and producer Naira Park. I will not be covering those other two movies, however, since they are a comedy action and comedy sci-fi film, respectively. I'm just here for the horror, y'all. And yeah, I know, Mortal Kombat. Bugger off, it's my show. And on my show, I make jokes, give production info, and count bodies. That's a lot to get done, so let's get to the kills. The movie begins with some Dawn of the Dead music that I'm too afraid to play for you because of copyright. A quick fun opening credits sequence shows us soon-to-be British zombies already acting like the undead, snoozing through life and shambling their way up to that title card. 29-year-old Shaun is in a fucking rut, and it's starting to wear on his girlfriend of 3 years, Liz, played by Kate Ashfield. All he ever does with her is go to this pub, the Winchester, and his best friend Ed is always around, preventing any privacy.
It'd be nice if we could. Fuck. Spend a bit more time together.
Bollocks.
Ed has a sort of codependency with Shaun, which is a source of constant annoyance for their third flatmate, Pete, played by always a highlight comedic character actor, Peter Serafinowicz. Pete's pissed like a pickled pepper, because Ed still acts like they're in college, but Shaun can't help but love his juvenile friend and his smelly fox.
Oh. Oh my god, that's rotten! I'll stop doing them when you start laughing.
I am not laughing, Shaun takes a morning walk through his lovely-looking neighborhood, which was filmed in North London, around Crouch End. He passes a radio and hears about a satellite returning to Earth, a reference to Night of the Living Dead, where the undead rose due to similar circumstances. This movie's got a ton of references to Romero's work and some other horror films, but I won't be able to point them all out in this kill count. If this episode does well, maybe I'll make a separate video going through them all. Chelsea can join me. It'll be fun. At work, where Shaun is an electronics salesman, he's disrespected by his peers, especially 17-year-old Noel, played by Rafe Spall, who was the villain in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Nice glow-up, Rob. Shaun's also got a terse relationship with his stepdad, Philip, who wants him to be a better son to his mother, Barbara.
Perhaps you could bring the flowers you forgot to bring Barbara on Mother's Day.
I was gonna.
And not a cheap posy from a garage forecourt.
I wasn't gonna.
Because of his personal and familial distractions, Shaun fails to notice a few hints that society might be headed for disaster. I won't count random fainting lady here as dead, but I will count this dude with his head immobile on his steering wheel. Seems pretty dead back there. Shaun mucks up an anniversary date night by suggesting he and Liz go to the Winchester. It's the last straw for her after a string of disappointments.
You promised you'd stop smoking when I did. You promised you'd go back to the gym. You promised you'd try drinking red wine instead of beer.
It doesn't help that Shaun does.
Well, hold on. Do you mind if I skip to sometimes at the end?
about her boyfriend's death, so she runs outside brandishing his leg as a weapon. I won't be counting Diana's dead, though. It's not definitively depicted on screen, and a comic made by Peg and Wright show her surviving the situation by climbing up a tree and napping through the night.
I'm now living in Birmingham with my aunt and remain in Christmas card contact with Shaun and Liz.
Zombies swarm into the building, threatening to overrun our 3 remaining survivors. Shaun kills one zombie by shooting her in the head, but that's all he manages to do before they see a familiar naked zombie. Ed successfully puts zombie Pete in a headlock, but the undead flatmate bites his arm, while zombie Bernie returns to nom on his shoulder. Shaun watches, utterly horrified, but does get some revenge when he shoots zombie Pete in the head, killing him.
My
Shaun
brother, right, I love him so much, and if I ever was about to get eaten by thousands of zombies, I know my brother would be upset, be like, "You son of bitches, leave my brother alone!" And he shoots half the zombies. Because me and my brothers, I have one brother. Me and my brother, we are badasses. Because the thing is, I told him this. If there was a zombie apocalypse and I was getting in, what would you do? And you know what he told me? He said, "I'm going to kill all the zombies to avenge your death." And I'll be like, yeah, but what if they ate me? You killed the zombies and I'm dying from blood loss and, like, getting eaten. You know one thing? I had a dream. Hold up. I will unpause it, but let me tell you. Dream was last night, right? So, it was my sister's birthday last night, which is real. I'm not going to tell you what happens because, you know, it's my, you know, privacy. So, anyways, the dream was, there was a zombie apocalypse, right? Instead of the pub, we go into a club thing. You know what a club is, right? Where you go partying all night and drink beer and alcohol. So, we go into the club. We stayed there for 3 nights. When there was day 4 in there, kinda. Well, we gone there on day 2, but let's say it was the 5th or 6th day. Then we go inside, we make noises, zombies come in, I try to kill, so I knocked down, I don't know if I killed him, but I killed I killed 55 zombies or something. So, my brother's name is Carlos, right? So, while I'm killing the zombies, Carlos is trying to, because I have like a BB gun of like a sniper rifle, right? And you try and put the bullets in to aim at the head, which will kill them, because yes, it will kill you. Apparently, he puts the bullets in, the small bullets, I'm not going to explain the whole thing. He puts the bullets in, right? And while he's doing that, I see like one of the zombies. I don't know if I recognize them or something. I don't know if I do or not. So anyways, all I do is I try to hit one of the zombies and puts one of them like, not in a headlock, but I try to punch them. But one zombie, because the zombie fell down that I punched it, fell down, but I thought it died. And when I was looking at Carlos, because I smiled at him, but when Carlos says watch us out, I try to look behind, and the zombie grabs me, like here, I'll show you, right? So, the zombie's behind me, I didn't notice, grabs me, pushes me down. I'm not gonna, kneel down, because I don't want to. And then, one zombie bites my shoulder, like, I'm like, ah! And then, I'm screaming in agony, because, you know, I'm...
And a very injured Ed makes her way behind the bar, then...
Sorry. So, I scream, right? I scream, and my brother starts screaming at me, and he's like, "Leave him alone!"
Lighted a blaze to keep the zombies at bay. They realize the only way out is the cellar below them, and as they descend, their box of shells explode in the fire, killing 3 zombies with ricochets that turn into headshots. Down in the cellar, the trio finds themselves trapped, leading to an overwhelming sense of hopelessness. With only 2 shells left, they begin making plans of suicide. It's done in a way that's both hilarious and depressing, and is the most in love that Shaun and Liz have seemed in the movie. Thankfully, by the light of a flame, for one final shared cigarette, they discover a keg lift that'll lead them to freedom outside. Ed decides that he'll stay back, not wanting to slow down the lovebirds, and the 2 friends have a heart-to-heart, wherein Shaun apologizes for yelling at him earlier, and Ed apologizes for barking.
Oh, God. That's not funny.
Stop doing it when you stop laughing.
I'm not laughing.
Oh man, that is so sad and sweet. Shaun tells Ed he loves him as he and Liz ascend on the lift, popping out onto the street where there are still lots of zombies to deal with. Good thing the army shows up and starts mowing them all down, running over 5 of them, giving another a door prize, shooting frickin' 18 of them down with their rifles, and hell, I'll even include these last 2 they thwack in the head, because they did it with force. Yvonne is here too, and she helps Shaun and Liz get to safety. They've survived the zombie apocalypse, and that's enough for them to give their relationship another go. 6 months later, life is mostly back to normal, with zombies being turned into entertainment. I won't be counting Zeds we see killed in these shows, though. Give me a break. I've earned it. I will count Knowles, since he was a previously established character, now confirmed as dead, or undead. Lots of fun quick bits here, showing how society has adapted to zombies.
I know what happened to Noel. He dropped his phone, couldn't find it, and that's how he died.
By Coldplay. Nice that someone's looking out for the undead, even if their festering skin is all yellow. As for our hero, he lives comfortably with Liz, though she's not the only loved one in his life. Turns out he's keeping Zombie Ed as a garden shed friend, chained up in front of a TV so they can still play games together. And that's nice. Did Shaun of the Dead's focus on comedy detract from its body count? I don't think it did, but let's go make sure at the numbers.
I don't think my brother would put me down zombie. Oh no, he would
By
be
my
too
count,
upset.
there were 51 kills in Shaun of the Dead. 10 were living men, 3 were living ladies, 27 were zombie men, 10 were zombie ladies, and that one corpse under the car? Well, I just couldn't tell. Pretty messy, but makes for a fun-looking pie chart, right? With a runtime of 99 minutes, that left us with a kill on average just under every 2 minutes. I'll give the golden
Chainsaw for cool skill.
to David, torn apart by zombies. It's so graphic, I can't even show it all in the public version of this video. Dog machete for lamest kill will go to the first victim I counted, the background body in the car. And introduced last episode, I'll give the coolest corpse award for best zombie to Ed. Usually, when a main character gets zombified, it's a tragedy. With Ed, it's almost an improvement. It's a sweet ending, solidifying his and Shaun's friendship, and like a lot of this movie, is foreshadowed in dialogue earlier on.
You want to live like an animal? Go live in a shed!
And that's it. Shaun of the Dead came out in 2004, and George Romero liked it so much, he cast Sean Pegg and Edgar Wright as zombies the following year, when he made Land of the Dead. On Friday, we'll look at the Romero flick whose title was A Tier, Dawn of the Dead. Until then, I'm James A. Janice.
This has been Kill Count. On next Kill Count. Attention all Dead Meat viewers. We got a great deal for you this Friday. One zombie classic, extra Blueface. Don't miss this special offer. Oh, you can experience living in the mall during zombie apocalypse.
Come early and receive 1 free Tom Savini. You'd have to be dead to pass up this deal. And even then,
Anyway,
you'll still have
have fun. Of course.
While you're here, enjoy the food court and the world-famous blood pressure testing machine. It's to die for. Prepare your
Who's
shopping
up in
list
us by watching the original Dawn of the Dead directed by George Romero
And this Friday, watch the Kill Count
on Dead Meat.
When there's no
No
more
room in hell.
the dead will walk here.
Dawn of the Dead can say we watch my hopefully around the right side. There's very much
Thanks a lot for watching this Kill Count on Shaun of the Dead. I want to thank some patrons like Lynn Webb, Zachary Capone, TJJ, Dylan Butler, Xavier Robinson, and Zoe Pickering. Shaun of the Dead was one of the most requested movies we got emails for. Reminder, those emails really matter, so if you want your request to count, send an email to deadmeatmovies@gmail.com. That's how you wound up with Shaun